Thank you, David. The last inductee of the evening, Tony Barone, head men's basketball coach at Creighton from '85 to '91. His teams won the Missouri Valley Conference regular season and tournament titles in '88-'89 and '90-'91. He led the team to, at that time, an unprecedented 20-20-20, 3 consecutive years of 20-plus wins. And those of you who were around at that time understand we didn't have great facilities, we didn't have tremendous university support at that time, and those accomplishments were unbelievable. Tony's accomplishments at Creighton are much more than any one-loss record. It was at a time Tony was an academic All-American at Duke, and we instituted the first academic coordinator at Creighton, Rosemary Gross. I don't know, is Rosemary here this evening? Rosemary? Started our academic support program at a time in Division I athletics where the NCAA was raising the standards to be Division I. When I came to Creighton, we only needed to have 8 sports. It raised to 10, then to 12, then to 14. Increased scholarship requirements, scheduling requirements. It was a difficult time at Creighton. It was a transition period. Without a tremendous AD and Don Leahy, who I still consider my boss, and without Tony Barone, I am convinced that we would not be Division I athletics today or have the athletic program that we have today. We have had a great tradition at Creighton. We have a great culture. I think our brand is that we have student athletes who demonstrate the love for the game and for each other by the way they play on the field or courts. They're willing to give up their individual goals for the betterment of the team. They execute the fundamentals of the game. They play hard. This is a culture that doesn't just happen. This is a culture that takes a lot of work. It takes the work of coaches, it takes the work of athletes. And yet Tony was really instrumental in us keeping that culture at Creighton University. He was an outstanding teacher of the game of basketball. In my basketball career, I learned more by watching Tony's practices than from anybody else in my entire basketball career. Tony had a tremendous relationship with his former players. I'd like the players that played for Tony that are here tonight. This is 25 years later. Let's have those players stand up, please. And this is a good message to our student athletes who are here this evening. You know, you think that you're at Creighton and you're here for 3 or 4 years, sometimes 5 or 6. That influence that people have on you, that may be it. But the influence is lifetime. You see, 25 years later, the loyalty that these players still have with Coach. It was because even though he pushed them hard, he pulled them hard, they knew that no matter what, he would do anything for them. It's with great honor that we induct this evening Coach Tony Barone into the Creighton University Hall of Fame.
This is the greatest invention of all time, by the way. For all of you who need a little help to see, these are called clicks. And my wife, after buying 75 pair of dollar glasses, bought these, and they just click. So, I've been told by Tom Gaughan that if I didn't recognize Bruce Lauritsen, the owner of the First National Bank, who has been a great provider and supporter of Creighton University. If I didn't introduce him, that I would never be invited back to Omaha. So, Bruce, thank you for all your support. I came to Creighton a number of years ago. It's almost frightening now to think of how long ago it was, but I came here for one reason, and his name is Don Leahy. He's the most legitimate, honest guy that I've ever met in my life. And Bruce touched on it, and he was absolutely 200% correct that when we were here, Bruce was in the athletic department as the women's coach. We did not have a lot. And Don was the guy who carried the banner for our athletic program through the Jesuit community, through the community here in Omaha, through Father Morrison, and it was, I think Jimmy and Bruce and I probably never realized how much he did on a daily basis for us. And we were able to have some success simply because he fought every minute of every day for us. And for me, that was the reason we had some success. And now, as you move into this new era, you have a great coach and a basketball coach. I'll zero in on that. The Big East is a great league. You have great support within your community. And most importantly, you have another Don Leahy at the top of your athletic department, a guy who's going to do everything he can to get this thing in this major college level that you're at, which is a tough level now. It's a totally different world, as Bruce brought out. But you've got a great leader, and you'll have tremendous success with Coach McDermott as your leader, and I'm sure that everything will be super. I just want to tell you a couple of quick stories, and I was told by a number of people, please, please, please keep it short. And I will. But I also learned a long time ago, when you have, number one, the last opportunity to say anything, use it. And secondly, when you have an opportunity to thank people, you need to do that. As I look around and see these student athletes, the award winners, and I'm honored to be a part of this class, it's amazing to listen to these young people talk and to see their community service and what they do. And you know why Creighton is Creighton. And you just have to see these athletes and listen to them and talk to them, and you're totally amazed and pleasantly surprised at how intelligent they are and how much they care about people. I think that's a big deal. We were trying to raise money at Creighton when we started, and there weren't a whole lot of people in the community who were throwing dollar bills at Don. And I came up with an idea. I said, Don, let's have a golf outing. He said, hey, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. And I said, what do you think? We got any guys that we can count on? And he said, I don't know. What do you think? And I said, well, I think if we could get a golf outing and we charge $150 for a tee and $150 for a green fee, that's $300 for 18 holes. That's a pretty good amount of money. I said, what do you think? He said, well, I got a guy. Let's talk to this guy. His name is Ron Gartland. And I said, okay. He said, he's a CEO of Godfather's Pizza. I was a Chicago guy. I didn't know anything about Godfather's Pizza. And so we bring Ron in, and I say to Ron, I'm telling you this story because this is why Creighton is moving where you're moving, because you have community support. And I say to Ron, what do you think? I'll get some speakers. We brought some pretty good speakers in. We had Jimmy Valvano, we had Al McGuire. We had some pretty good guys to come in. And I said, well, I think we can get those guys, but what do you think we can charge? And I said, well, $150 maybe. He said, what are you, crazy? He said, I'm not running a golf outing and charging $150 for a tee and a green. That's ridiculous. You're not going to make any money doing that. I said, okay, well, what do you think? He said, we'll charge $1,000 for a green fee and $1,000 for a tee box. Don and I just, choked, fell off the chair and said, I don't think so, but if you think we can do it. I said, where are you planning to generate this kind of funds? He said, well, I think there are some people in Omaha that would be interested in getting on board. I said, well, who would that be? He said, well, we have some people who are sausage vendors. We have some people who provide some cheese. Oh, yeah. So those were our initial sponsors for the suppliers of Godfather's Pizza. And the golf outing grew, and that's a small example of support. And it was amazing, to tell you the truth. I had an opportunity to work with staff members here, Jimmy Hendry, who I think the run that they had at that World Series was incredible. It was the most exciting athletic event that I've ever been a part of, and I wasn't a part of it, but I had an opportunity to watch it, and it was incredible. And it was directly attributed, really, to Jimmy coming in to our basketball practices and bothering our team every day, shooting three-point shots and trying to play 2-on-2 with our guys. And that was the guiding light to his success as a baseball coach here at Creighton. You have to be willing, I think, in today's world, to be thankful for what you have and to find a way to influence people. And that's for you young student athletes going out now, you're talented, really talented kids. You got a wonderful world ahead of you. It's not going to be easy for you. And what you've learned at Creighton, your athletic teams, and through the university, through the Jesuits, will bode well for you in your attempts to be successful. I was lucky enough to work in the NBA for 13 years, and I worked with Hubie Brown, who's a Hall of Fame coach, Chuck Daly, Hall of Fame coach, Jerry West, the logo in the front office. And the one thing that I learned from all of those guys was the commitment to production. It was interesting. There was never a doubt in our minds with Hubie that we weren't going to win every game. He believed that 100%. And so your commitment now as you move on out into the real world, student athletes, your commitment has to be that you believe in yourself. You're well prepared. You'll run into some bumps. You'll run into some things that you're not going to be prepared for. But you'll be able to navigate because of what you've learned at Creighton. I was lucky here. Don was the buffer. We had wonderful players here. I think if you look up in the record books, some of our guys are still in the record books at Creighton, high up. And that's because we were very unselfish for the most part, we had guys who just cared a lot about each other. And that was a joy. They were a joy to coach, no question about it. Batman and Robin are still up here somewhere, which was a great promo, by the way, I thought. I have a wonderful family. And I think Coach McDermott will tell you that anytime you're in this business and you can't count on your family, you're not going to be successful. And I remember sitting down with my college coach. Two of my college roommates are here today, Mike Lewis and Joe Kennedy, who traveled from Kernersville, North Carolina, and Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be here. We're lifelong friends. And he sat down with me, my coach, Vic Bubas, and said, you really want to coach? I said, yeah, I do. I coach and teach. And he said, well, the most important thing for you to do is to find a wife who is going to buy into what you're going to make her put up with. And so I have 3 children. My daughter Amy has given us 3 wonderful grandkids. Katie Kentfield, who is going to enroll in Creighton as a freshman next year, thanks to Bruce. And yeah. Christy Kentfield, who is an aspiring model of sorts, and she's a junior in high school. Kevin Kentfield, who is a 7th grader in a grade school, who will be the first grade school baseball player to go directly to the major leagues, according to him. And my daughter and her husband, Kevin, are both graduates of Creighton. So we have a strong family tie there. My youngest son, Brian, has blessed us with 3 grandkids. They're young, drive you as far up a wall as they can drive you. Wonderful kids, Carson Thomas, Ava Corrine, and the only true Italian in the family, Gianna, who is a little under 2 years old. My sons Brian and Tony have been in the business. It's a strange business. They have given me an opportunity to chase a crazy dream, to be a coach, to try and make it in that business. And I can tell you that if it wasn't for the family, my family, I'd have no chance of being in this particular field today. My sister is also here, Adrian, and she's been a great supporter. The one issue that just keeps coming back to me is my wife, Kathy. And she's a special person. And it's interesting, when we're out in the communities and we run into different players that I know or that we've coached and bump into, the first thing they say is, how is Mrs. B? They could give a rat's ass about me. Really. And she has been a friend. She has been a confidant. She has been an honest critic. And above everything else, she has somehow found a way to maneuver the potholes that I made her drive over a number of years. And because of her, the little battle that I'm going through right now is a small battle. I wouldn't want anyone else to be by my side through it. There's no real way to thank her. You know, I think many of you are happily married and love your wife and love husband, etc. And it's difficult to decide what do you say and how do you say it, because she has done so much for me and she's done so much for our family. You know, coaches' wives, I don't think I've moved one time, and we've moved 8 times, but I've never been involved in a move. She's been the mover, and that in itself is a heck of an accomplishment. So I just want to say thank you to her and tell her that I probably have never, ever been as effusive with my praise of her as I should have been. And so as we sit here tonight, I just hope that she feels that I appreciate and have appreciated all the things that she's done for me to put me in a place where I could have this honor bestowed upon me. That might buy me another 2 weeks. Maybe. Okay. I think that I have some other things I want to say, but I think we've had a long enough evening, and appreciate being given this opportunity to join this class and have an opportunity to see these wonderful student athletes and see just how important this university is, because it is. It's interesting. I was all over the country scouting and recruiting, and this is a special place. This is a special place. And it's special because of you, and it's special because of the community. And that's wonderful to see. I'm a music kind of a buff. Joe knows every word to every Motown song that is possible. Now, the younger kids in the room they don't get this. They Motown what? And there's a musical, Motown the Musical. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's a great musical. It's a story of Berry Gordy and how he turned Motown into a $100 million conglomerate. And you go through all the different artists. And one of the artists, one of the songs by the Supremes has a line in the song that challenges all of us. And I'd like to say goodnight by you accepting the challenge, the student athletes and all of us adults here accepting the challenge. I'm not going to sing the words, but I will give you the verse. And the verse is very simple. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. That's the challenge for all of us tonight, and I hope that we'll all accept it. As in finishing up, I would like for you to pray for me for 2 reasons. One, I need all the prayers that you're willing to say, but more importantly, you need to practice. Thank you.